Hi there, in the previous video, the timer instructions were explained. After that, a simple project was defined and started. In this video, I'll complete the project and test it with Factory.io software. Before we get started with today's video, I just wanted to inform you about all the great content we have been releasing on the plcgoods YouTube channel, which includes industrial automation PLC programming, HMI, and microcontroller-based developments. My name is Syed Reza, and if you enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you could click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, to receive the latest and the greatest content I will be posting through the channel. Now, let's continue the project from the previous video. If you remember, this program has been written to store start requests on this variable. Now, let's write a program to turn on the alarm siren. Well, I want to turn on the alarm siren for 5 seconds before the belt conveyor. So, let's use a pulse timer. I can directly write TP, or click here and find the pulse timer. As you see, there is a red line under this variable, because it's not been defined. So, let me write it again and use the auto declare window to specify its data type. Now, let's write a program to turn on the warning light. After each start request, it must be turned on, and remain on when the belt conveyor is running. Let's continue. The belt conveyor must be turned on after 5 seconds. So, an on delay timer must be used before the belt conveyor coil inside my program. As you see, the selected new variable name is ton_1, because during the previous video, I've used an on delay timer with ton_0, whose data type is ton. Note that the timer was removed. So, I can use its variable, ton_0, for the new on delay timer. Well, let's set the predefined time to 5 seconds. Because the belt conveyor must start working after the alarm siren. Similarly, let me use this unused variable, whose data type is time. Alright, based on the current program, after each start request, the alarm siren will be on just 5 seconds, the warning light will be turned on, and the belt conveyor will run after 5 seconds. Remember, when the start request is removed, in other words after each stop request, the belt conveyor must be turned off after a delay, to move all boxes completely. So, let me use 2 off delay timers, before the warning light and the belt conveyor. Note that, the warning light must be on when the belt conveyor is running. I think 5 seconds is enough to move all boxes completely. Okay, the emitter produces boxes inside factory IO. It should be on when the belt conveyor is running. It means 5 seconds after each start request, but after each stop request, it should be turned off immediately. So, I can create a branch after the on delay timer, to turn on the emitter after 5 seconds, and turn it off immediately. Alright, it seems the program has been completed. But if you test it, you'll find a problem. Although both the emergency and stop push button are used to stop the belt conveyor, but in an emergency condition, the belt conveyor must stop immediately, not after 5 seconds. So, let's use an emergency contact before the belt conveyor coil. If the emergency button is pressed, this contact will be open, therefore the belt conveyor will be off immediately. Similarly, let's use the emergency contact before the emitter coil. As you know, PLCs execute the whole program and then update all their outputs. Therefore, another way to consider emergency conditions is using the emergency contact with the reset coil at the end of my program to turn off the belt conveyor. Well, let me delete the last line, because I've considered emergency conditions inside the previous network. Now, I'm going to connect my program to factory IO. First, let me exit from the simulation mode. Note that, if you want to make the connection for the first time, our previous video with this link can help you. It explains all steps with details. Well, the next step is to specify which variables of my program should be shared with factory IO. Now, let me run my controller, CODESYS control win v3. Now, let's connect the controller to CODESYS, and then download the program on the controller. Here, I write my device name and its password. You will need to write yours. Well, the controller has been connected to CODESYS successfully. So, I can download the program and also test it. Now, let's use KepServerEX software to create and connect an OPC server to my controller. Its necessary settings were explained before, inside the video with this link. Now, I need to define some tags inside the OPC server, which will connect to my program variables. Okay, let me define the first tag, that can read or write the state of this variable. Any name can be selected for the new tag, but the address field must filled carefully. Just pay attention to arrows. Now, I need to determine its data type and then click on OK. Other variables can be defined similarly. Alright, all necessary tags have been defined. Now let's click on the Quick Client icon. As you see, the connection quality is good, and the state of two tags are 1. Because their corresponding variables inside the controller are 1. Now, let's run Factory IO software and design the system, which was explained during the previous video. Note that, by default, inside Factory IO, inserted emitters and removers are in force mode. I want to control the emitter with my program. So, it's necessary to change its mode to normal. Now, let me define which boxes I need. Well, let's continue to design a control box. Alright, the system has been designed. Now, let's connect the inserted equipment to define tags inside the OPC server. Remember, on the other side, the tags have been connected to my program variables. Alright, the design system can be controlled by the PLC program, through the OPC server. Let me sort windows to see the program, the design system, and the OPC interface simultaneously. As you see, if the emergency is pressed, the start push button cannot be used to store a start request. Let's inactive the emergency button. Now, the start push button can be used to run the system. Well, after the stop request, the belt conveyor and warning light remain on 5 seconds, to move all remained boxes. Well, this box has not been moved completely. Let me increase the time of the two off delay timers, and then test the program again. Alright, at this time, the belt conveyor has moved all boxes. Let's test the emergency button. Well, the belt conveyor has been stopped immediately, by the emergency button. Okay, this simple project has been finished. It will be extended later. In the next video, I'll start counter instruction. Thanks for watching my content. If you have any question on this topic, make sure you leave them in the comment section below, and if you can spend a few seconds of your time liking as well as sharing this video, if you enjoyed it, that will mean a lot to me. If you have any suggestions for the channel, such as what kind of hardware or software I should be covering, then make sure to leave that in the comment section. See you next time. Bye bye.